The thing you hear most about Banos, if you've heard of it at all, is that it's Ecuador's adventure sports capital. And while that's true, it's also true that it is surrounded by some of the most lush mountain landscapes in the northern Andes. This morning, I'm headed to one such place, Devil's Cauldron, where the wild Pastaza River empties into a narrow storybook gorge. Past the souvenir booths, I bought a poncho just for security. Well, already you can hear the river roaring down below. I'm on one of at least two tremendous suspension bridges over the Pastaza River. This property is private, and that means it's not a national park. In fact, there are two separate entry fees, depending on whether you take the lower falls route, which goes right up into the face of the falls from down below, which I've just done, or whether you take the upper falls route, which descends into this canyon above the falls and provides a sort of eagle's eye look from on top, which is where I'm going now. So I've arrived here at the trail above the falls. The river winds through the village above me, makes an S-curve, and at approximately where I am right now, it begins a series of twists and turns before it falls over the edge of the Devil's Cauldron. As you can see, the river sort of disappears into the mountain, swallowed up, carving out a cave into the side of the cliff. So it's impossible to follow it completely until you hike over the ridge and a bit down the other side, which is what I'm doing, and about to access another suspension bridge to do it. This one is a bit shaky, especially with the number of people on it, given that this is a Saturday and it's a whole lot of Ecuadorian tourists have descended upon this place. But no wonder. What a beautiful place this is, and how undisturbed it seems. But that's not the reality. Just a few kilometers downstream from this waterfall is a hydroelectric plant that has tamed the Pastaza, and which has already had a deeply critical negative influence on the flora and fauna of this region, not to mention the natural water resources. It's not unusual. It's happening with practically every rich mountain stream that pours down out of the Andes into the Amazon basin. And the fact that this waterfall is still here flowing relatively undisturbed is a blessing we shouldn't take for granted.
After several hours of hiking, I was ready to go back to town for a late lunch. BANOS offers food from all over the world, some of it in unusual combinations, including the ubiquitous cuy, or guinea pig, an Ecuadorian specialty. But I headed to the market to satisfy my hankering for another Ecuadorian mainstay, llapingachos.
Con arroz, por favor, y el...
Avocado.
Ajá.
Así.
Y una huevo arriba, ¿no?
Claro.
Es necesario.
Sí. Buen provecho.
It's not easy being a vlogger sometimes, and that's why it helps to have a cook who's also a pronunciation coach.
Llapingachos.
Llapingachos.
The llapingachos, by the way, were delicious. Refueled and reinvigorated, it was time to catch another local bus, and this time head into the mountains above Banos for some hoped-for dramatic views during golden hour. The place, Casa de Alba, famous for an infinity view swing suspended from this tree. But the real attraction here are the mountaintop vistas, including, if you hit it just right, a peak of mighty Tungarawa volcano hiding in the clouds.
Well, I don't bungee jump, rock climb, or dangle myself off the side of a mountain attached to a cord hanging from a tree. But let me show you something. How about that? And I'm walking my own gondola back up to the start point.
It's easy to be cynical about a place whose claim to fame is an Instagram-friendly swing. But when you're here, none of it matters. On the bus before the trip back to town, the driver was cleaning up at cards.
Ay, yo pues ya saldrías.
Gracias. It's my last night in Banos before heading south to the city of Cuenca. And I knew what I was looking for. I found my empanada and my dessert. Well, 2 desserts, but who's counting?
Excuse me, sir. What are you doing?
Tocando una foto, un video.
Oh, video? Wow. That's good.
Yo creo.